There are several buy low players walking into week number 7 that you need to attack before their values skyrocket. These guys on screen are just some of them. There, of course, are many, many more, but your boy's here to walk you through some of my favorite buy low acquisitions before week 7 kicks off, because there's no getting Mahomes on the cheap after week number 7. There's no getting Devonta Smith after I believe he does bounce back on a tear, and everyone's going to be so down on him. They're treating him like Ridley right now out in the fantasy football space right now. The Devonta Smith fan clubs are all vanished. They're gone. They've packed up and left, but they will be returning, and I'm all about buying low on this man right here. Gibbs, Debo, Ayuk, Mayer. Honestly, he's available on a lot of waiver wires still right now, but Mayer is a fantastic go-forward tight end option in a bleak tight end market in fantasy football. Achane, yeah, we know Achane's a top 5 running back, Smitty. How are we going to buy him low? It's still easy to do. If the team that owns him doesn't have 4, 5, or 6 wins, people freak out. That's the whole nature of buying low and selling high. There's all kinds of ways to do it, and it doesn't always work. Just because you can't buy Achane low doesn't mean another owner in a parallel universe can't buy him low. Stop pretending everything revolves around you, Bob. The Fantasy Football Show Buy Low Target Edition begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Live whenever news breaks. This is an upload. This is not live currently, even though I'm filming this live, actually. But I've made this so that this isn't an actual published live stream until I'm done recording it, because I want to make sure we roll through this before the 8 p.m. show starts. And I want to make sure all of you have your buy lows walking into this evening before we even get to tonight's exciting show, which is going to be a fantasy football stock market show, where we're going to start doing something, I think, on the regular, and kind of, over the years I've coined a lot of things in terms of trade calculators in 2003, draft simulator in 2003, believe brought both of those to the market before anybody. And I've been innovating in the space for a while. Fantasy football, bold predictions, phrases that everybody uses today that no one used back in 2003, 2002, 2003, 2004. And we've done a lot of stock market stuff over the years, and there are a lot of people that have since created stock market type content, and we've kind of gotten away from it for a while. But now we're going to dip into it different than anybody. We're going to bring you stock market content that's uniquely different than anybody else's stock market content. And that's all going to begin at the 8 p.m. show tonight. So join me in less than an hour, right? Let's talk about these guys right here walking into week number 7. Patty Mahomes is going to go on a tear in 2023, week number 7. And I believe that this whole notion that you can't buy him low right now is hogwash, because I see it every single day. I see it every single couple hours where somebody says, Smitty, I'm either concerned about Mahomes, what do I do? Or Smitty, I have an offer on the table where I get Mahomes and I'm giving up, and it's some garbage, type of deal where this person's making out like a bandit. And I'm like, what are you thinking about? Smash the button, do it live. So I know for a fact, and the one reason I really know for a fact is I have a text line on thefantasyfootballshow.com where you can get your text advice, your bold predictions. Again, your boy coined these a long time ago. Trade calculator. Again, your boy, I believe, had the first trade calculator, at least instant-based, client-side facing trade calculator in the industry. There's so many things we've innovated. Text advice. Name a content creator or site that has on-demand text advice. I don't think so. And on my text advice, I get a pulse and temperature of trade value and fair market value trending before it happens more than I believe anybody. I don't think anybody can have the temperature of what might be coming more than I do, because I see 100 different messages on Mahomes, 100 different. I mean, I can tell you everybody's dropping Ridley, or there's things that you can identify, and I can tell you right now with a certainty that the average Mahomes owner is in panic mode. more than average. I'd say 70% of the Mahomes owners are looking to get out, especially if they coupled Mahomes with Purdy, or they picked up Purdy, or they draft Tua and they've got Mahomes and Tua, or they drafted Kirk Cousins and they just seem to want to roll that way because they're hurting at other positions and they want to get rid of Mahomes to just try and get some kind of fighting chance. Because the truth is, if you own Mahomes or have owned Mahomes for weeks 1 through 6, you're struggling because he hasn't delivered and you were counting on Mahomes-like production and you might be taking some L's. The average Mahomes owner is not going to be 4, 5, or 6 wins deep. They're going to have 3 wins at this point in the season or less. The average Mahomes owner. Now, I know there's a tough guy, Tommy, in the chat right now, keyboard Caleb, typing away and saying, hey, you know, I've got 5 wins. I'm special. I've got Mahomes. Good for you. Pat on the back. Good job. Nice work. This isn't about you, Bob. This isn't about you, Caleb. There are so many panicked Mahomes owners out there. He's going to get on his horse. The offense is just not jiving 100%, but it's getting back on track. Kelsey is going to be a week healthier now, a day healthier. Every single day he's healthier. This offense is definitely getting charged behind the run in Pacheco, and things are getting balanced out a little bit. And I think Rashee Rice, the emergence of Rashee Rice, who you could even put on here as a good player to go get in some sort of 2-for-2 deal that you kind of throw him in as a throw-in and you're getting a really good player. Rashee Rice, the emergence of Rashee Rice could really help Mahomes get back on track. Mahomes goes out and has a 4 or 5 touchdown game at any moment, and he's completely forgiven. That is going to forgive every single bad game he's had or mediocre performance he's had. Instant forgiveness across the board. Blanket forgiveness the moment he has a 4 touchdown game. So I would, even if he, let's say he goes out and has a 1 TD game in week number 7, I'm still buying low. I will be buying low every single week that this continues, where he is doubted a little bit more than he should be. And no one's saying you can steal him away for a ham sandwich, but you certainly can, if the owner of Mahomes has Purdy or has another quarterback, convince somebody to trade laterally into another position that you might have a lot of depth at. So that's the whole angle one. What do you have? Do you have wide receivers, extra wide receivers? Do you have a Jalen Waddle, who is a good buy low but also a good sell in that kind of scenario? Do you have a running back like Kyren Williams that you can't afford to wait on, and you can trade Kyren to the team that has Purdy and he's struggling at RB, but maybe he is Mahomes 4-2 type of team. Maybe he's 4-2, has Mahomes, also has Purdy or another quarterback, but got riddled with injuries at RB, can wait on Kyren. That's a perfect trade as well right there. There are a lot of ways to pull this off. And the truth of the matter is, he probably was a, 2nd to 3rd round equivalent value on draft day comparatively. That's the cost of entry in terms of draft value. I would say if we're drafting today, it's definitely not in round 2. It's in round 3, 4. So it's not like he's a round 5 or 6 forgotten guy. Everybody's thinking he's no longer a top 5 quarterback, but he's certainly like 12 whole spots lower in equivalent draft value, equating that to trade value. That's great. Like, you could get him for a 3rd/4th rounder. You can get him for a plethora of depth and nothing really super substantial, or a pretty substantial piece and another depth piece. You get Mahomes for a steal, and this could win you a league. This is a guaranteed amount of points week in and week out, and it's a fantastic move for anybody looking for a QB, and so many people are. Devonta Smith, buy him now. Buy him now. This man's so disappointed in himself dropping that pass last week. He literally is going to fuel himself into a rebound mode. And let me be abundantly clear. I know everybody's in this, okay, Ridley, oh, he's absolutely awful, and I'm going to just copy and paste my feelings from that situation over to this situation and say Ridley's a bust, Devonta Smith's going to be a bust, Olave's going to be a bust, and we're just going to continue to triple stamp and double stamp on all this. But let me tell you something. This situation still has that potential rotational. Devonta Smith goes nuts one week, A.J. Brown goes nuts the next week. And I know a lot of people think that's not going to happen. And I'm not saying that A.J. Brown goes away. I'm not saying trade A.J. Brown. I love A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown's a top 5 to 10 wide receiver go forward no matter what anybody says. But this guy still has the potential to be a top 6 to 12 wide receiver and have cups of coffee inside the top 5 on 2 or 3 occasions in the next 10 games. This is a man, Devonta Smith, that is low-end wide receiver 1 material in my eyes go forward. And of course, I'm not going to rank him there because I don't have to. So I won't. And I'm going to buy him low. I'm going to buy him at wide receiver 2 value. Some might even sell him cheaper than that because he's done nothing for a while. But that doesn't bother me because if I'm in the acquiring business of Devonta Smith, none of those points or lack of points matter to me. All I care about is week 7 going forward and Devonta Smith to the freaking moon. Buy him low. What do? Okay, let's say you have a package like this. Let's say you're sitting there going, Smitty, what do I do? What do I do? I've got Stephon Diggs. Oh, you can't sell Stephon Diggs. Did Smitty just give advice to sell Stephon Diggs? Of course you don't sell Stephon Diggs or any great player like that, Tyreek Hill, Diggs, if you're winning. Why try and fix what isn't broken? But if you own Diggs and you have no shot to win, what are you going to do? Just ride the wave until the entire wave crashes? You're nowhere near the shore and you have no idea how you're going to try and even make the playoffs. If you own Diggs and you've got 2 wins and you do an honest inventory on your team and you can't win, you have to divide and conquer. You have to go get 2 players for your 1. That's called dividing and conquer in these parts, and we're here to help you do it. What do? How do you do this? One of those players should be Devonta Smith. That's just one of the pieces, though, because in a perfect world, not saying this is my expectation, but he could fend for himself in this trade if this player gets hurt and is out for the year a week after you make the trade. That's the whole point and formula for creating a magnificent 1 player you trade away for 2 incoming players to your team. Can each individual player fend for themselves and be a player that can win me a league or at least contend with the player I'm giving up? Like I said, worst case scenario, you go get Achane and Devonta Smith. Could each of these guys fend for themselves in this trade against Diggs if one of them got hurt? The answer is yes. Would you draft Devonta Smith near Diggs? No. Okay, that's not the point. But could he fend for himself? Probably not outscore him, but make it a respectable fight. The answer is yes. Could Achane outscore Diggs? He could actually outscore Diggs, but because he's missing time, that's why he's in here with another player. But this is the perfect trade. The perfect trade for an Achane. You could insert, instead of inserting Devonta Smith, you could certainly put in maybe a Lamb, who might be harder to acquire this week because he finally did pop off. You could insert an Olave, who's struggling in a lot of people's minds. You could insert a Waddle and something. And of course, that the further you go down, the more at risk you are of feeling like you made a mistake later if, let's say, Achane didn't work out, or let's say the receiver didn't work out. But that is a beautiful trade for a team that needs to get rid of Diggs. That, listen to the words coming out of my mouth, needs to get rid of Diggs. Not everybody does need to. So I've covered Achane in a little bit in that little example. But Achane has top 5 running back potential the moment he gets back on the field. And the news suggests that he's going to miss just 3 more games. And then they have the bye week, which everybody has a bye week. So you can't hold the bye week against him and say, oh, 4 more games. He's missed 1 game. He's going to miss 3 more games. They've planned the bye week perfectly, or they planned the 4-game PUP. He's going to miss 4 games on IR. They planned that perfectly so that once he comes off IR, he's got the bye week. He'll have 5 full weeks to heal from this knee injury that is said to be not serious or significant enough to keep him out more than those 4 games. The goal and the stated situation is that Achane is going to miss no more than those 4 games. So he is returning to be a top 5 running back. If you have 3 wins, 4 wins, 5 wins, or 6 wins, he's still a great go-get player, especially using a cumulative amount of players that are not necessarily big impacting players to your lineup. You're maybe including a player like Mixon that you can replace with maybe Gibbs this week and maybe the next week. Gibbs is a good supplement, another good buy low in a sense, with risk, but a good buy low in that if you have, let's say you got Roschon and Gibbs right now. Roschon's out for week number 7, but he could be back to start week 8 and could be back to start week 9. Gibbs could start 1, 2, maybe 1, maybe 3, maybe just 1 more game, but you have overlap and protection there that makes it so you could trade a Mixon away for an Achane and float for a while you await for his return to be a top 5 running back. Achane, hey, no one's selling him, Smitty. No one's selling him, Smitty. I see it every single day. I see it every single hour. I help people do this and do it live. And I'm tired of hearing people say they can't make good trades. There's a key to making trades. Offer in waves. If you're not offering in waves, you're not going to get a trade done. What makes you think you can get a trade done without offering in waves, without offering in masses, without offering 20 offers? I'm in the business of helping you get good trades done. Not mediocre trades, not even Steven trades. Good job. See you next week for another you kick me in the nuts, I'll kick you in the nuts. We'll walk away even Steven. I'm here to help you rip off the owner that you're trading with. And if it doesn't lead to a good trade down the road, it doesn't lead to a good trade down the road. We're not here to bro fist it out and make even Steven trades. But when you make a trade that's in your advantage to the extreme, you're going to get an acceptance 1 out of every 20. You're not going to get 1 out of 4, 1 out of 3. This isn't a 25% hit rate. This is a 1 out of 20. This is like a literally a 5% or less return rate on your offers, sometimes lower. And so you need to offer 20 trades. You need to offer 20 trades in order to get that return on your offer investment. And I'm telling you right now, the people that say, "Oh, no one trades in my league," you sent out 1 or 2 trades, Bob. Or your league just doesn't trade, and I can't help that. If you play in a bad league, I can't help that. I can't help if Bob in your league is a Dolphins fan and he owns Achane. I can't help if the Mahomes owner doesn't ever return a trade offer or an email or a text. Those things are out of my control. So, and I can't help that you might own Mahomes and say in the comments, "No one's giving up Mahomes. I own him." Well, of course you're not going to give him up, because you love him and you're watching a show that just reinforced how good Mahomes will be moving forward. Get out of here with your, "Not in my world. My league's so good that no one's going to make bad trades." People make bad trades every day, and they have in your league already this year. And if you can't be honest and reflect on that, I don't know that I can even help you. Tua Tagovailoa, go trade for him now on the cheap. Is he still a risk of getting hurt? Yes, he is. Any hit could take him out. But guess what? At this point in the season, with quarterbacks in shambles, he's a top 5 quarterback lock for at least as many games as he starts. Jalen Hurts, not doing awful, so you're not going to get him dirt cheap. But if somebody has Hurts and also has a Purdy, they're susceptible to trying to do some sort of trade. And look, they probably still feel like, okay, Hurts has been playing good. But man, he kind of has been dragging a little bit, and I don't really feel confident every week that he's going to get there, and he somehow does. He runs for it. He's throwing an INT. They don't seem the same. Devonta Smith isn't on his game, and so the Hurts owner is still a little vulnerable if they've got another quarterback. Now, if you've got Fields injured right now, and you're trying to upgrade Fields into Hurts, that might not work, or Fields into Mahomes. Who's going to do that if they don't have another quarterback? Context matters. I can't help you get Mahomes or Hurts if you don't have a quarterback to give back that is substantial, or they don't have a quarterback to replace the quarterback. I can't help you in every single situation. You got to help me out. And Debo and Ayuk, look, there's struggles here in Deboville because he's been banged up, but he has led the team in targets and in also snaps. In at least 1 out of the last 2 weeks, he's led the team in one of those the last 2 weeks. And so it's not like he's been off the field or anything. He's just played badly, and he's injured. There's a chance maybe he doesn't play this week. There's a chance maybe he plays injured. There's a chance he's very, very limited and he's on a snap count. Or there's a chance he plays and he plays badly. So there might be an opportunity to still buy even Devonta Smith. Maybe he struggles again. I'll be on the Devonta Smith buy low train until the train goes upward, until the trajectory of Devonta Smith goes back up. I'll be here next week. I'll be here the next week. I'm not going anywhere if he struggles again. Just like I won't go anywhere if Debo struggles again. One of these guys, and Achane's not playing, one of these guys is going to struggle in week 7, and then you have an opportunity to continue the buy low train. Mayer, again, check your waiver wire, but he's also great to throw in if a person just picked him up, and you can do a 2 for 2. Hurts, Ayuk, Debo, Gibbs. Look, there's risk in Gibbs, of course, but this is the opportunity he's been waiting for. This head coach has finally said we're going to use him. We kind of want to be careful with him. I don't know why they're saying that. They're not going to want to be careful with Monty. Why they keep talking about being careful with a player they don't even want to use? Why not break him? What are they doing? I don't even understand. I don't even know that I trust this right now, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful we finally get to see this man get 18 totes of the rock, because all it takes is one to break free. I feel like a Gibbs touchdown is in order this week. I hope we don't get screwed and he gets 5 carries and they just game script him out and we're all just like, he's dead to me. I don't even want to look at his face. I want to get him off of my roster. That's what people are saying about Ridley right now. And I understand it, but I hope we don't have to go there this week with Gibbs. But he's a great buy low right now, and his owner's probably looking for any chance to get rid of him on the high. So, like, if this news kind of makes them feel like, okay, I can get out of this right now, they might trade him, but still not at a value that's crazy, because you can argue that Monty's coming back, and Monty is coming back. That's week 7 buy low, baby. And the Fantasy Football Show is live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and live whenever news breaks. So I'll see you for the 8 p.m. show here shortly, the Stock Market Show. 8 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. See you all soon. Go buy low. Go buy low. Go do it live.